Hello guys and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. So again, I need to apologise because I didn't manage to get a preview out for the Bayern game that happened last night, but I'm sure everyone knew all about it anyway. Excuse me. So the first leg, Champions League quarter-final, did end Arsenal 2, Bayern Munich 2. In front of a sold-out Emirates crowd that was fully Arsenal fans. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the game. I was gutted. I really wanted to go to that game. And it's a game that, waking up the next day, I still don't really know how I feel about it. I do feel very frustrated because, if you watch the game, I'm sure you would agree that Arsenal pretty much shot themselves in the foot and gave Bayern their 2 goals, and we could have been in a much better position. But with the way the game went, in the end, coming out there level terms with it all to play for in the other leg next week at the Allianz, it's not too bad, but could have been a lot better. Let's talk about the game. So the game started. I think Arsenal started fairly well. I think the team was pretty much what I think most Arsenal fans expected, with Kivior coming back in at left back instead of Zinchenko from the Brighton game. Martinelli got his first start since Sheffield, I think it would have been. Sorry, on the left wing. Saka managed to play, he was fine. Jorginho kept his place, which I was quite surprised. I thought, because Jorginho played 90 minutes against Brighton, I really thought Thomas Partey might come in for this game, but no, it was Jorginho who ended up playing, and the rest of the team was as everyone would expect. And we started the game all right. I think the first 5 minutes, Bayern were on the ball a bit more. They were trying to settle down the crowd, and Arsenal were sort of feeling their own way into it. And then we started playing well. We got a nice early goal from the star boy Bukayo Saka. Brilliant finish, brilliant goal really from Arsenal. Building it up from the right-hand side like we do with most of our goals. Odegaard coming deep, putting the ball over towards, I think it was Havertz or White making a run. Little bit of fortune the way, I think Havertz ended up nicking the ball back to Ben White. Saka's made a run inside. Ben White just laid him the ball. He's let it come across his body and whipped it into the far corner against Neuer. Brilliant start. And this, you couldn't really wish for anything else. And from that moment on, we did look really dangerous. Then we had another massive chance, and the build-up play was pretty much exactly the same. Odegaard coming deep, playing the ball over the top. Havertz done really well, worked off the second ball, played it into Ben White, and he's one-on-one with Neuer, and he's just hit it straight at the keeper. And you just think, if that goes in, it could end up going on to being a really memorable, legendary night for Arsenal in the Champions League, and we don't have many of them. Obviously, Arsenal, as big of a club we are, our European pedigree has never been good, to be honest with you. It's something that, no matter who the manager's been, who the players have been, Arsenal have just never done well in Europe. And I honestly feel if Ben White scores that goal, we could be talking about a very special night. However, he doesn't manage to hit any of the corners, and he hits it straight at Neuer. And even though that was frustrating, I felt really good at that point, and I thought, oh, cool, we could really go on and win this quite handsomely. And obviously, Bayern have been really struggling in their domestic league. It's going to be the first time they haven't won the Bundesliga in 11 years, which is just mental. However, I have been saying the whole time, that is what makes these lot so dangerous, because this is their whole season. And Bayern Munich, let's not get it twisted. They are still an amazing team with some genuine world-class players running throughout their first 11 and their squad in general. So it was always going to be tough. The most frustrating thing about it is that they didn't really have to do anything to get back into the game. At this point, we had them pretty much pinned in. We were pressing them, and all they could really do was just boot the ball long, and normally we would recover play and we'd start playing again. And I never thought that would be our downfall in this game. We were pinning them in. I don't know who cleared it from Bayern, probably Dyer or something. Gabriel was, he has the run on Kane. He's getting to the ball comfortably. And I'm sure he just wants to knock it back to Raya and we start again. But for some reason, Raya is so far out of his goal, and he's pretty much standing next to Gabriel. And you can see Gabriel look up and he's kind of shocked to see him. He's like, fuck. And then all of a sudden that pass is kind of cut off. So yeah, I think Gabriel does kind of well in the end. You know, he finds an angle to give it to Kivior, passes it to Kivior, and somehow it just misses him, or Kivior just can't seem to move his legs quick enough to get control of the ball. Goes past him into Sane, and then from then we are open, and it is well executed by Bayern. Sane playing a nice ball in behind the blind side of Rice where Goretzka's run off. Then he plays a perfectly weighted ball into Gnabry for him to score. I see a lot of people saying, oh, Ben White should have stopped and played Gnabry offside. Look, that's a lot easier said. A lot easier said than that, man. I'm done. If he does stop and then Gnabry's not offside and he's just let him run through and score, people would be moaning then. So I think that's harsh. I think the bulk of the mistake and that goal has to go down to Raya, because it's his weird decision to be so far out that it starts a domino effect of mistakes. And unfortunately, Gnabry puts it away, former Arsenal player, and, you know, they are 1-1. And it did rattle us a little bit, I'd say. But we sort of composed ourselves, got back into it. And then, look, this was the most obvious thing in the world. If you wanted to win a bet last night, you should have put Harry Kane to score, but not to score a normal goal, just to score a pen. Because he don't score normal goals at the Emirates against Saliba and Gabriel. It's always a fucking penalty. And the way the build-up to the pen was just so frustrating. You know, it starts from Neuer, you know, having the ball at his feet, goal kick. Does some ridiculous flick to flick it over Havertz's head. And then, to be fair, the build-up play from Bayern is absolute class. The lit into Sane. Kivior gets too tight and he gets absolutely spun by Sane. Which, look, I was a bit harsh on Kivior when it happened, saying I don't think he should be playing in this game. And in recent weeks, I have softened my opinion on Kivior. I think he is a decent player. I just don't think he's this kind of level player for a game like this. I don't really know if we have a left-back for this sort of occasion, to be honest. I think it's something Arsenal need to look into in the summer, getting a proper strong left-back. But anyway, Sane's managed to twist him. And at that point, fucking swipe his legs, man. Take him out. But Sane gets running and running and running. And, you know, he is unbelievably quick. Gets his way into the box. Jorginho gets a nice touch on it. Gabriel goes to slide and then pulls out. And then Saliba just not naive in the way he just clipped his ankle, go down for a penalty. And Kane, to be fair, very good penalty. It was quite rude. He said after the game, he looked at Raya and the way he handles pens. Let him sit down and just slide it in the other corner. And then all of a sudden we're 2-1 down in a game we really shouldn't be. In a game we should be 2-0 up. But unfortunately, we're then 2-1 down. Gets to half time and nothing's really happening. We're not really creating any chances in the second half. Arteta makes a couple of subs, Jesus and Trossard, and to be fair to Jesus, especially, he really changed the game. And to be honest, I didn't get to do my preview, but I've been saying I think Jesus had to start this game. I think he would have twisted Dyer and, well, I used to say Open Meccano, but obviously he didn't play. It was Dyer and Mateus Delit at centre back, and when he come on, he was just giving them all sorts of problems. And then, you know, we'd have a great bit of play where we finally start winning some of the second balls. Declan Rice, you know, goes back to his normal position as a 6, which I think, you know, Declan Rice for the first hour or so of that game, he wasn't really in it. He's not an 8. He can do a job in an 8 against certain teams, no doubt about it. And he's done brilliantly. But in a game like this, when we kept getting done on transition, counter-attacks, I think you have to have Declan Rice as the 6 in those games. So when he did go back to 6, he won his duel. And there was a nice bit of play from Arsenal to get it into the box for Jesus, who cut up a couple of them, put it across to Trossard for a brilliant finish. And the game ends 2-2. But that wasn't the end of the drama. Literally, pretty much the last kick of the game. I don't know if Partey plays it through or if the defender tackles him, but somehow the ball gets through to Saka. He's one-on-one with Neuer. He goes to go round him, gets taken out, and there's no pen given. And it caused a big drama online after and a lot of debate. Look, looking at it, if I'm brutally honest, I still don't know if it's a pen. I don't know if you can give it as a pen, because it does look like Saka has kind of thrown his leg into him, but then again he's going at full pace. He's trying to go around him and jump out of the way. Neuer kind of flicks his leg and catches Saka. Look, there's definitely contact. So if it was given, I don't think there would have been too much complaints, but I can see why it wasn't, and I don't think we can moan too much about it, to be honest. But yeah, it leaves it 2-2, all beautifully poised for the second leg in the Allianz, which is going to be tough. And look, the one thing I've said about Arsenal in the Champions League, if you watch my previous videos from when the draw was first made for the round of 16, etc., I did say at the time I thought Arsenal had more chance of winning the champs than they did the Prem. But the way the season's gone since then, I'd have to change my mind. Look, we're 7 games away from winning the Prem, really. Realistically, Liverpool handed us the advantage by dropping points to United last week. And we're in a position now where our goal difference is so healthy that you'd imagine if you win all 7 of your games, you go on to be champions, even if you win it on goal difference. But look, next week is now a big week. It's a massive game. Can Arsenal go and handle the pressure of the Champions League? It's the one thing that, gives me major doubts. And I saw it against Porto, where it's the lack of experience, I think, is very, very telling. Like, you could see the players looked a bit nervous yesterday. I mean, when was the last? We hadn't conceded a goal in like 4 or 5 games, and all of a sudden we concede 2 of the poorest goals we will concede all season. The one thing that gives me hope going into the away game is we tend to defend a lot better away from home than we do at home. We tend to always give away a shit goal at home. Always, always, always. And it's so, so frustrating. So hopefully that'll work in our favour. We'll be a lot more switched on and defensively solid. But it'll be a case of dealing with the crowd, dealing with the atmosphere, and playing the game. If we play our game, we've seen Bayern haven't been great all season. Bayern were decent yesterday, and like I said, this is their last thing to fight for. And it could definitely go either way, but I do think Arsenal can beat them next week and go through to the semi-finals. But it's going to be really tough now, and you'd have to say Bayern are marginal favourites. But look, all to play for. We do have some advantages next week in terms of Alphonso Davies, who fantastic left back, really quick, really strong. I do think Saka had quite a good game up against him, to be fair. But he will be out as he got booked, so he won't be able to play, which means Saka will be up against Guerrero probably, and I think Saka would fancy his chances against him more than Alphonso Davies. And I think Thomas Tuchel said Gnabry done his hamstring again, so I don't know how long he'll be out. He potentially misses next week, depends how bad it is. So look, there's some advantages for Arsenal. We've played them, and now it's just a case of going away and getting the job done. Can we do it? 100%. Will we do it? I'm not sure. But the most important thing is just to make sure that we don't let these lapses in concentration now become a snowball effect and let it affect us moving forward. Because we've got a massive game on Sunday in the Premier League. Got a good few days to rest for it now, and we need to respond and win that game against Villa, which is absolutely huge. So look, as long as we just take it as, a couple of silly mistakes, first few silly mistakes in a while, leave it in that game and crack on, we should be fine. So going into my player ratings, I'll quickly run through them. Raya, like I said, I think he's got to take massive responsibility for that first goal, so I've got to give him a 5. I think that's fair enough. Ben White, I thought had a really good game again. Should have scored, had an assist. Should have been leaving this game with a goal on assist minimum, but I think overall we played really well. There was one point at 2-1 down, Sane breaks through in the first half. Odegaard and Ben White, but somehow get back to take the ball off him. If it goes 3-1, we would have been in major, major trouble. Saliba and Gabriel didn't have the greatest of games, to be honest. Both kind of culpable in the mistake each for 2 of their goals. Obviously, they've been absolutely incredible recently, so, you can sort of give them one where they've had a little, give them a pass. So I'll give them a 5 each. Kivior, I just think, was out of his depth. I'll give him a 4. No, that's a bit harsh. I'll give him a 5. He wasn't necessarily worse than anyone else. Jorginho didn't really have much of an effect on the game. I have to give him a 5 as well, I think. Rice, probably the same. Didn't really do much. Probably give him a 5. Odegaard, I thought, was actually really good on the day. I think he showed a lot of courage on the ball. He was the one constantly getting on it, constantly trying to make things happen. He did actually get man of the match, I think, officially. But, yeah, I don't think he was necessarily incredible, but I think he was our best player on the night. I'll probably give him a 7. Saka, no, I'll give Odegaard... Yeah, no, I'll give him a 7, but I'll also give Saka a 7. I know he scored, and overall I think he done all right. But again, no one really pulled up trees in this game, unfortunately. So it's just one of them things. Saka done well. He scored the goal, but I don't think you can give him more than a 7. I'll probably boost Odegaard to an 8 because I do think he's just overall ability on the ball and the way he really tried to take the game by the scruff of the neck. I'll boost him up slightly. Havertz didn't really have any impact on the game, to be honest. I'll give him a 5. Martinelli, same, a 5. Jesus was brilliant when he come on. I'll give him a 7. And Trossard scored a big goal. I'll give him a 7 as well. The other subs, Party come on, and I don't know what's happened to that guy. I was calling for him to come on, but he had a little bit of a torrid performance. I'll probably give him a 5. But yeah, all to play for next week. All to play for. One thing I do need to address, actually, is the potential penalty that Thomas Tuchel was moaning about for Bayern. Now, look, it was a clear mix-up, and technically, I suppose it is a pen, technically. You know, if you've seen it, the referee blows the whistle for a goal kick. Raya passed it to Gabriel. Gabriel hasn't realised that they're taking the actual goal kick already. I don't think Raya was either, because if you look at it, we always take the free kicks the same way. Raya gives goal kick, the same way. Normally, Raya rolls the ball to Gabriel. He then takes the goal kick by stopping it, passing it to Raya, and Raya kicks it up the pitch, which is what we did do. But the ref had blown a whistle, and I don't think Arsenal realised. So Gabriel's touched the ball to put it down and play it to Raya. Bayern are going crazy saying, that the ball was in play in this handball and a penalty, which technically, yes, it is, but you can't be giving pens for that, man. You've got to use some common sense. Clearly, there's a miscommunication, or they haven't realised that when the game started. They're taking their usual goal kick routine. We've not gained any advantage from it at all. So, grow up, man. It's not a pen. Like, it is, but it's not. You can't give pens for that. I wouldn't want it down on the other end, and I'm not just being biased. Genuinely, if it was the other way round, and that happens to Bayern, I wouldn't be screaming and crying about a pen like Thomas Tuchel was after. I get that their season's in a bad place, but come on, man, that's just fucking stupid. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what did you guys think of the game? Did you think the penalty at the end was a pen? Do you think Bayern should have had one? And what do you think the chances are of us going through in the next game? Personally, I think we do have a good chance, but it's going to take a very big performance. But Arsenal, in history, haven't proved that they're capable of, and this team need to still prove, in my opinion, that they have the stones and the know-how to get through games like this. So hopefully they can do it. Please do like, comment and subscribe. It means loads to me. And please do share it, and let's try to get other people involved. But yeah, we'll talk later on in the week about the Aston Villa preview, which is a massive game in the Premier League. And yeah, we'll talk nearer the time. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.